American Eagle, Hollister, Forever 21. All brands that cater to the American teen.
While these fashion-forward fabrics represent the youth of the USA, they're not actually made in America. In fact, most popular textile brands are made half a world away in places like India, Indonesia, and Vietnam.
Textile industries turned to mills overseas due to the much cheaper labor and production costs. Because of this trend, many Americans that once boasted flourishing textile industries are quickly disappearing. Fort Mill, South Carolina was once a prosperous textile mill town until the 1970s. Springs Cotton Mills manufactured spring-made brand towels, pillowcases, and sheets that were sold all over the world. Ann Evans is the official curator of the Springs family.
The documents were signed for Fort Mill Manufacturing, subscribing and creating the resolutions that created the company in 1887. And this was sort of a discussion that was occurring between Samuel Eliot White, John McKee Spratt, and some of the other friends and sort of the movers and shakers in Fort Mill in the 1887.
Eventually, Springs went international, growing to the 7th largest textile company in the world. This growth, coupled with the large demand for textiles at the turn of the century, placed a strain on the small mill town. Mills were opened in Brazil to handle more of the international demand, and Springs Global was born.
It was a shock as people were laid off and plants started closing. There was, of course, personal loss. You know, these people had their parents, their grandparents, and for some of them even their great-grandparents had been working in the mills and had this lifestyle that no one else working in farming communities or in the stores, whatever, could have.
Unfortunately, the cheaper cost of production at the overseas plants quickly became evident, then forcing Springs executives to make the difficult decision to move more of the operation away from Fort Mill, choosing profit over patriotism.
By the early 1990s, almost all of Springs textiles were being manufactured overseas, with only a small executive office left in Fort Mill. Many of the original mill workers either had left the town to find work elsewhere or found another trade. Charlie Powers was the mayor of Fort Mill during this transition period.
In 2003, the White plant closed, and that's when the textile jobs were really going somewhere else.
Though the town struggled initially, it was able to bounce back, reinventing itself as a bedroom community with close proximity to the Charlotte banking industry and a prestigious public school system. Fort Mill was able to survive where many towns did not. With the recent push to bring industries like manufacturing back to the U.S., the mills may be up and running once again. According to the Consumer Reports National Research Center, 78% of Americans would rather buy a product made in the USA, and an additional 25% of those polled said they would pay an extra 20% to ensure it was manufactured right here. Derek Close is the CEO of Springs Creative, formerly part of Springs Global.
We see things actually starting to come back to the USA. For example, we shipped Walmart 30,000 dog beds made in the USA just this last week, made cheaper here than we can in China currently.
This new plant is responsible for many products sold in Walmart stores. The Arkansas-based discount retail chain pledged to buy more than $50 billion worth of U.S.-made goods over the next decade.
As consumers continue to demand that more products are made right here locally, it will directly impact the economy and workforce of this town, and many like it, bringing the industry and the name back home.
Reporting for PBS Student Reporting Labs and the Buzz TV, I'm Hunter Strickland.